Well, I don't often get into politics, and I kind of have been avoiding it because it really doesn't pay. You're going to alienate like half of the viewership, really, because it is pretty much half. But I'll have to admit, last night I actually did watch their election coverage. It was like a drama kind of thing. It was fun, funny. It went on and on, but it was interesting to watch. And what I really enjoyed was the great surprise and actually dismay of all of these people who think that they know what this country is like. When honestly they never see the middle of the country. They really have no comprehension. So they were quite upset, which was good. But a thing that kind of I found a little disturbing. When they were talking, they were saying, that the middle of the country is just flyover country, and like the votes that were coming in were from all the uneducated people, and I found that to be a little aggravating. They said the uneducated blue collar workers that they were voting. It's that basket of deplorables. But what they don't understand, there's a difference. Education really isn't that big a deal. I have a kind of a thing I like to do. It doesn't take the place of common sense. A lot of times I'll be talking to somebody, and you talk for a while, and then you try to guess which college they went to, because we've got like 3 main colleges around here. And you can usually pinpoint which college they went to and actually even which textbooks they were studying, and even down to the professors that they were under. It's not that hard to do, because they don't learn to think for themselves. They learn to parrot what their professors said. And that's really what a lot of these colleges are doing, is they just turn out these endless line of liberals. But it was good to see them put in their place. I'm not, like I say, I'm not really into politics. Hillary, I've never cared for her for a lot of reasons. And I've never cared for Trump either. I really, but, they talk about, okay, is she experienced? She's got all this experience, which has only led to corruption. At least Trump, going in, he has no experience in this. He doesn't know how to lie effectively. Says stupid things, but I think it's possible that he might have to grow up. I think, which would be good. I think he might do okay. Actually, it was a relief. It was funny because, like I say, I don't pay a lot of attention to this, but I got hooked into watching this, and I discovered, and I woke up this morning and I see that he is the president. It was kind of a weight off my shoulders that I didn't realize I was carrying. So, because I, like a lot of other people, have just been dismayed with the whole political system. It just doesn't work. This whole two-party thing. And the news media, this was really a kick in the face for them, and they needed it, because the news media is almost useless now, our domestic news media. I have given up watching it. I used to watch Al Jazeera, and all of a sudden you can't watch that here. That's, it's not in this country anymore. But there is Russia Today, that RT, which is probably the best news organization out there now. I can believe them. I don't believe anything any of the other ones say. And you should remember that. You know, when people lie to you consistently, it's not something you should forget that easily. But I think it was interesting. Anyway, not what this is about. It was on my mind, but it was funny, you know, like I said, I woke up this morning and felt like there was a weight off my shoulders, which I hadn't realized I was carrying. I just had a message from somebody was asking about putting neat's foot oil. He said he ordered one of these holsters in, and he was wondering about how do you apply neat's foot oil. There's no trick to it. You put it on, and then it soaks in, and you put it on again, and you put it on to the point where it won't take any more. That's if you got good leather. You know, if you got good heavy leather. If you got that real flimsy stuff, then you got a problem. But you don't want to put something that will seal it until you get it good and soaked in. Because if you seal it, then nothing can penetrate. Like Snow Seal is one of them things I use a lot, but I don't. Once you get neat's foot oil soaked into the leather all the way in, then you can put a sealer on it. But at first, you just want a soaker. You know, I just take a rag or a sponge and keep wiping it on, and then hang it out in the sun. Soaks in, give her another shot. Keep doing it till it won't take anymore. That's how I do it. But it always makes you think of back when they used to work with horses. When they oiled the harness, they would have big tubs of neat's foot oil that they would lower these things, the whole harness into the tub to soak it. That's how they oiled them. You didn't sit and wipe a little bit on here. So I put it on heavy. But, you know, it soaks in. But if you got really flimsy leather, of course, it isn't going to be that advisable, because flimsy stuff ends up like a pair of gloves or something. But good heavy leather, it works fine. And like this is one of the ones from IMA, and that's super leather. But now when they come, they're real light colored. You know, I guess you'd have to say a buff. You know, they actually look, well, almost like that. You know, they're real light colored. But as soon as you get neat's foot on them, they darken right up, especially with a little sunlight. And I've heard people saying about, you know, wrapping your gun in saran wrap and putting it in there so it molds to the gun. But once you get it soaked, it actually molds to the gun very well anyway. But there's no trick to it. Just takes a little bit of time and a little bit of neat's foot oil. Well, quite a little neat's foot oil, because it'll really soak it up, especially when they're unfinished leather, where it's just the raw leather. But man, that works good. Well, that's all I guess I was going to say. I'm working on this contraption, but so I won't leave comments open. What I'm doing here is I come down every once in a while in the evenings and quick put a log on. But this one, though, I had to drag it through the stream to get it here. You know, this is all scraps out of lumber, the logs that I cut last winter or the winter before. So this has been sitting, and when I skidded it out of there, I had to skid it through the stream. So I got to peel the bark off so that it dries out, so I can mark it decently and notch it. It's a pretty simple operation. I'll maybe show that sometime, but like I say, no comments. I don't need comments on this stuff. Don't care for them. Don't appreciate them. I do it my way. I don't need advice from anybody else. I've done this before.